Hello and welcome to another video. This is Hannah with Frugal for Two, and if you're new here, I focus on frugal tips, tricks, and recipes. Today we're going to be making a creamy stovetop mac and cheese. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that my very first video was baked mac and cheese, and it is still one of my absolute favorites. But sometimes you want warm, creamy comfort food, and this just does really well for that. So today we're going to be working with water, flour, evaporated milk, cream of chicken, onion powder, mustard powder, salt, pepper, garlic salt, and your choice of either elbow or small shell noodles. 1 small green onion and a half a stick of butter. Now to get started, you're going to want to completely melt that 4 tablespoons of butter. And once that's melted, add in 3 tablespoons of flour as quickly as possible and get that stirred in. This all happens really quickly. You're going to have it on a medium heat, and if you're not careful, things burn really easily. This is not something that you can stop and go do other things during the beginning of this process. Now that you've got that all together, you're going to add in 3/4 of your can of evaporated milk. Leave that other fourth for later. Stir that in well, and in about 1.5 minutes, I'd say, you're going to see it turn into a thick paste. As soon as you see it turning into a thick, even paste, you're going to add in that last 1/4 of the cup of milk, along with your can of cream of chicken. You're going to make sure you have all your cans and spices open and ready to go, because a lot of this recipe moves very quickly. Once you get that mixed in, make sure there's no lumps or bumps and it's all one even color. You can add in your water. You're going to want to add in 4 cups of water. I add in 1.5 cups later in the recipe because my pot is just not that big, but you can add 5.5 cups right here. Then add in 1 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder, full teaspoon of garlic salt, a little bit of extra salt. You don't need that much because the garlic salt already has some, and then 1 full teaspoon of pepper. I know this looks like a lot of pepper, but it actually gives it a nice kick of flavor to this rather mild mac and cheese recipe. Stir that in, and then add in your 5 cups of noodles. In my case, elbow noodles, because I can buy them in bulk, and so that's usually what I have on hand most of the time. Once you add in those 5 cups of noodles as quickly as possible, you're going to follow the directions on how long to cook those noodles. In my case, these noodles took about 10 to 12 minutes. If your noodles take a little longer than this, you may need to add some more water. So 10 to 12 minutes of boiling later, we have this thick looking mac and cheese. I'm adding in my other 1.5 cups of water to get this to a nice soupy consistency. And once you get that all mixed together and in an even soupy consistency, you can begin to add in your cheese. Now you're going to be using two kinds of cheese today. I forgot to put that in the beginning of the video because they were in the fridge. But for your first cup of cheese, you're going to want to use either Fiesta cheese or mozzarella cheese. Mozzarella works best, but in my case I had Fiesta. You just want a cheese that melts really well. And that's to offset the cheese that doesn't melt quite as well, which is sharp cheddar. But the sharp cheddar actually gives it that classic mac and cheese flavor that we're all so used to. It gives it a lot more flavor than just using a mild cheese like mozzarella or Fiesta would. You're going to keep the pot on low heat while you're doing this, just to make sure everything melts really well. And then you're going to go in, and you can see this is thickening a lot as we go. It's going to end up being a very thick mac and cheese. Add in your green onion, and you can just sprinkle this right over the top. If you have an Instagram like I do, link in the description down below. This is your perfect time to take pictures. And then, because this is actually more for flavor than decoration, you're going to want to mix that in so you can spread that wonderful onion flavor throughout the mac and cheese. At this point, you are done. It will continue to thicken as long as you have it on the heat. So if it's still too soupy, just leave it on the heat for a little bit. If not, add a little water. I hope you enjoy!
If you've watched this far into the video, I assume you liked what you saw. If so, please give a like on this video, comment below, and give me a subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see more great content just like this. This channel is all about frugal tips, tricks, and recipes, and I look forward to sharing more with you. See you next time! Bye!